Hello, 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 and welcome back to twitch.tv/Epitaph Fox, and today we are playing two games tonight, as long as we have enough time remaining, but we are starting with 4 Before Midnight, a visual novel puzzle game that involves a little bit of time travel, I believe, and solving a mystery. I'm really excited for this one. Hello to Kazi Game Girl. Thank you so much for redeeming first. Kazi, how are you doing tonight? Glad to have you here. Bora, 'twas before midnight. It was. Welcome in, Bora. We're gonna just jump right into the game here because I'm, again, not really sure how long this will take. Where I have seen estimates of time, it says it should be like an hour-ish, which I know for me could mean longer because I like to read everything out loud. But let's go ahead and just jump right into this new game. Use space or left click to advance text. Hold control to fast forward through text. Scroll with the mouse or trackpad to rewind text. This will not rewind past major game events. Alright. Outside, 11 or so. Once upon a time in the kingdom of Eklik. At baseball practice right now. So you're low volume right now. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think I'll need to, like, get your specific attention for anything in particular. But if I do, I will shout. It was the night of the royal ball, and revelers from across the kingdom had gathered together at Castle Elfnor in celebration of Prince Felix's birthday. The party was as festive a time as Eklik had ever known, and everyone at the castle had been swept away in the merriment, laughing, drinking, and dancing to their heart's content. Kazi, thank you so much for redeeming the splash. Unfortunately, it does nothing, but it does let me know that you're here. Also, hopefully the music isn't too loud. Everyone, that is, except for a certain fairy godparent who was about to have a dreadfully busy evening. Must suck to be them. It's you, Ivy. You're the fairy. Oh. Well, that bites. And just when I thought things were finally going right with this assignment, or at least not going horribly wrong like usual, I gave Hilda her ride, dress, and royal alias hours ago, and as far as I'm aware, she's been prancing about with the prince in perfect bliss ever since. Alright, so we've got like a Cinderella-esque situation going on here. That should be 2 out of the 3 wishes granted. Even those nitpickers on the Fairy Council can't say I totally botched it this time. But maybe the inexplicable voice narrating inside my head has a point. For reasons that are totally not my fault, I do need to replace Hilda's horse in a carriage. No one could blame me for making the first pair out of fish, right? I mean, how was I supposed to know about the castle's rampant seagull infestation? But anyway, according to section 3.7 of the Cinderella Charters, the most traditional materials for a horse and carriage are mice and pumpkins. And I've already got most of a pumpkin right here. Now about that mouse. Use the mouse to highlight certain objects and people, and left-click to interact with them. You can only meddle while the red circle with the time is visible at the top of the screen. You can solve problems by meddling with certain combinations of objects. For starters, try meddling with 2 of the objects here to bait and then capture a mouse. Saucer of milk. Metal. Wow, this is some seriously grade A milk. Must be a cushy gig being a cat at the royal castle. But speaking of cats, I don't see any around right now, so I doubt they'd complain if I commandeered this milk for my own purposes. It's like the old saying goes, when the cat's away, there's no use crying over spilled milk. Swoosh! The milk congeals into a wedge of cheese. Now that's more like it. Cheese is to mice, as milk is to cats after all. You know, the fact that the 2 species, who might have joined paws in mutual love of dairy, instead ended up sworn enemies is almost tragic when you stop to think about it. but dealing with tragedies is way outside my wheelhouse. So stopping and thinking about it is gonna have to be someone else's job. Moving on then, I've got the bait for the mouse settled, so that just leaves the means of capture. I bet with a little meddling I could make something useful out of one of the other objects laying around too, but which one? Well, we got like a sword, a pumpkin, flowers, or a statue. Maybe the plants to create like a rope or something. Patch of fall-blooming daisies growing in the dirt beside the castle wall, also known as the common names Day's Eye, or as bone flower, or woundwort, if you're feeling unnecessarily morbid. Its long, sturdy stems could be useful in capturing something with some adjustments. There we go. Metal. Well, what do we have here? Looks like a lovely patch of daisies. Pleasant flowers, very hardy, and they've got some practical applications in food and medicine as well. They'd be just the thing if I were making a salad or some herbal tea. Which is absolutely not what I'm doing here. But you know, maybe if I just blast them with magic at random, they'll turn into something more immediately useful. Wow, magic! The daisies weave themselves into a daisy chain. Or I guess they could turn into a slightly different configuration of the same daisies. Fairy magic is notoriously unreliable that way. Still, even if it's made of flowers, a chain could come in handy trying to catch a mouse. I've got the mouse bait, and I've got my trap. I just need to sit back and see what happens next. After a minute or two, a mouse emerges from the hole in the wall, lured by the scent of the cheese. It scampers closer to the saucer, but as it does, the enchanted daisy chain lashes out and ensnares it. The poor mouse! Gotcha! And now that I've wrangled myself a mouse and a pumpkin, let's see if I remember how the spell goes. Magic sparkle! The pumpkin and mouse magically transform into a horse and carriage. Well, alright then. Not quite how I expected they'd come out, but hey, nobody's perfect. Either way, now that I've got the transportation settled, I'd better go have a peek at how things are going for our two lovebirds in the castle. By this point, and with a little help from my ever-reliable fairy godparent enchantments, I'm sure Hilda and her Prince What's-His-Face have already fallen head over heels for each other. Head over heels is in the figurative sense, but you know, you never know when dancing's involved. Either way, it's looking like a textbook happily ever after, courtesy of yours truly. Oh no! Oh no, the mouse became the carriage, which means the pumpkin became the horse. Oh. Yep, happily ever after. Oh god. Nay. Close enough. I do love a royal ball. The pomp, the spectacle, the comforting predictability of yet another awkward teenage romance. Wait a minute, why am I not seeing any awkward teenage romance here? Come to think of it, where's Hilda? How is it that my brilliant plans always keep going astray? Could the guards have figured out that Hilda's actually a commoner and given her the boot? No, the fake identity I made for her is utterly foolproof. I hope she didn't get cold feet. Those glass slippers have been known to shatter under sudden changes in temperature. I guess I'd better put that fairy invisibility to good use and snoop around. Maybe if I eavesdrop on some partygoers, I'll figure out what's going on with Hilda. Arrow keys or to go-to buttons at the top left and top right of the screen to move around the Great Hall. Gather information, eavesdrop on partygoers, hear what's on their minds. Alright. Felicitations, Your Majesty, from the Sovereign Duchy of Darkwood. The Duchess regrets that she is unable to attend the celebration of your aging another year, as is customary among us time-saddled mortals. I, her humble subject, ferry to you her deepest commendations and well wishes in her stead. May your life continue for another quantity of sequential years, in accordance with the average human lifespan, and may your peaceful days be untroubled by wooden stakes, holy water, and garlic. Okay, is he a vampire? Unless, of course, those are things which mortals such as ourselves enjoy in your kingdom, in which case we wish you lots of all of them, forever. We've got some vampires. Sincerely, your figuratively eternal subject, Lampreya von Pier, Countess of Bloodmire. At least they appear to be a vampire, less so the prince. Combinations, your Magni Goodness. Tis me, Archminister Nox Minuit the 12th. I hope that thy birth-and day has been most joyous and bounteous and goodest thus far. I just wanted to let you knoweth that I am as pompous and obnoxious as ever, as one is when one is the Archminister. Being the busybody that I am, I could not help but to notice that there is a new latrine in the castle, which has not yet been dedicated. I would be ever so honored if you would dedicate the latrine with my name, Minister Minuit, for all to see, for all time, meaning forever. Also, if there's any leftover birthday cake, you should give it all to your sibling Maxie, who most verily deserves it, and absolutely isn't impersonating the minister, myself, for personal gain. True thanketh unto thee, my liege, from your faithful advisor, Nox Minuit, for real. We don't have to keep reading, that's fine. We will go to the mezzanine. Ah, a conversation. The regal pair. Royal siblings of Eklich. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. Eklich. Something seems to be weighing heavily upon the prince, and it is not just the solid gold crown. What's the matter, bro? It's your birthday party, you should be having fun. The Princept Maxie. Oh, he's the one who wrote that in the... Or at least having cake, want a slice? No, thank you. I'm sure the cake is delightful, but it's just... I had hoped she'd be here. Oh, are you talking about your secret pen pal? Not so loud, or Minuits will hear. But yes, I'm talking about Hilda. In the last letter I sent Hilda, I invited her to the ball, but I never got her response. Largely on account of Minuit confiscating my carrier seagull. I thought she'd be excited to come and meet again in person, but I don't see her anywhere. Not that I'd necessarily recognize her if she'd come in disguise, but surely she'd recognize me if she saw me, right? Your face is kinda hard to miss, what with all your portraits everywhere. Then what if Minuit already found Hilda and threw her in the dungeon? What if she never even made it here? I told her the right time and date, I'm sure. Well, at least I think I did. Or no, what if I gave her the address to the wrong castle? Or maybe she's avoiding you. Oh, poor Felix. Kidding, of course. Look, I don't know what her deal is, but you shouldn't get so worked up over this. Stress is bad for your heart. How about some nice calming cake instead? I picked a slice with extra icing. No, you're right. I've got to keep it together. She'll be here, I'm sure of it. The night's still young, after all. Just slightly less young than it was 4 hours ago. Oh gods, time is such a cruel jester. The morose notary. A court scribe winging to anyone who will listen about their sorry lot in life. Anyone who will listen here, meaning absolutely no one. Oh, why did I even come to this ball? Aside from being required to record the official minutes as part of my job, I mean. Just got to write it out another hour or so, and then it's over. Until the Archminister's birthday next week, anyway. Stately pair. The Archminister of Eklich, and his loyal captain of the guard. Interesting. They both appear on high alert, though probably not for fairy interlopers. Quick, plot. Act natural. I suspect we have an impersonator in our midst. An impersonator? Ooh, you mean one of those people who dress up as famous bards and play at parties? Well, yes, I did hire one of those. Wait, her name is B. Plot. Oh, gosh. That's so clever. But that's besides the point. Specifically, I'm referring to that so-called Princess Brynhilda of the Totally Real Isles. Ooh, Princess Brynhilda. I gotcha, boss. Wait, what's she doing again? For several weeks now, she's been in contact with our prince via Carrier Seagull, and now it seems she's attempting to infiltrate the palace disguised as foreign royalty. Very poorly disguised, I might add. Honestly, just whom does she think she's fooling with such an obviously fake name as Brynhilda? One cannot just tack a lowly waste product onto a common girl's name and pretend it's princess material. That may have worked in Cinderella, but we have higher standards here. And as for her alleged throne in the Totally Real Isles, why, I vacationed in the Totally Real Isles myself just 2 years ago, and I can assure you they are in fact a constitutional republic. No, I don't trust this Brynhilda any further than I can throw her. I can throw her if you want, boss. I've been doing mad lifts like you wouldn't believe. That won't be necessary, Plot, but do keep an eye on her, covertly of course. And keep her far away from our dear prince. The lad may not recognize a red flag when he sees one, but I most certainly do. You got it, boss, and if I catch her so much as looking at any red-dyed cloth objects, I'll make sure to let you know. Oh, the red flags, yes. When this ball is finished, you and I are going to have a long talk about figures of speech. A bard playing a dignified waltz upon her lute. She's dressed in the likeness of a famous 6th century bard, Carmena Vocabo. Her garb's not very period accurate, but this isn't exactly the SCA. Her choice of song has significant influence within the ballroom. Perhaps she'd be willing to take a request. Just a little longer and I can call it a night. Why can't these royal types never book a show at, say, 5 in the evening or noon? Ah, well, at least I've got a good pay, a friendly crowd, and a comfortable seat. Now, if only I could do something about the terrible acoustics in this hall. I don't think we necessarily need to eavesdrop on everyone at the current moment. It's a birthday! The royal family may be loaded, but they really skimped on the party supplies. Something a little showier is in order here. Ah, the sketchy pair. A pair of ambassadors from the Duchy of Darkwood. Ah, the vampires. That makes more sense. There appears to be some bad blood between them, so to speak. Wink. Honestly, Emma, you had one job. Countess Vampire. Get it? Vampire. Emma Wolf. She's a wolf. Ah, clever. I love pun names. They're always so good. Yes, ma'am. Water time, by the way. Even a job even a zombie could do. Not that either of us perfectly normal humans would know anything about zombies, of course. Of course not, ma'am. Do you know how much trouble the Duchy of Darkwood will be in if anyone finds out about your little mistake? I wouldn't be surprised if the Duchess has you cleaning out the coffins for a year after this. The coffins that we keep in case of plague, and absolutely never sleep in, just to be clear to anyone who might happen to overhear this conversation. In my defense, ma'am, the baleful blade of blood murder is completely identical to the decorative court sword you were going to give to the prince, except for being extremely cursed. If we'd gone with the artisanal sword, like I'd suggested, instead of one of the mass-produced one, well, the duchy is on a very tight budget, you know. You could hardly fault me for being fiscally responsible. If you insist, ma'am. Regardless, this is now a situation of the utmost urgency. If we don't act now, everyone in this castle will be in mortal peril. I trust you know what must be done. Yes, ma'am. I've scouted out the area and procured the non-cursed replacement sword already. Already? That was fast. Where'd you find it? I bought it for 11 silver at the flea market in the castle town. Alright, fine. We'll go with the artisanal sword next year. Well, still no sign of Hilda, but I think I get what's going on here. If my fairy godparent intuition is right, so pretty much 50-50, then Hilda has been turned into a frog. What? Or possibly a mermaid. I don't really remember how these things usually go. Alas, dear Hilda, you poor star-crust lover. I swear on my wings and my cute little beret, I won't rest until you... Ivy, over here! Hilda? Oh, am I glad to see you. You're not a frog, or half fish. Wait, but if you're okay, then why aren't you dancing with the prince right now? That was the plan, I mean, but... Have you even spoken to him? I was getting there. It's just, you know, all this royalty stuff is just so stifling, and I'm just not used to being so formal, and I don't know. I just feel like I'm a fake. Well, technically you are. But I'm sure it's all going to work out great. Look, your first two wishes were to go to the prince's birthday gala and to tell him how you feel, right? Right. And you really want to make your wish come true, right? Right. And you really, really don't want to see your good friend Ivy get demoted to fairy god acquaintance for failing 13 consecutive assignments, right? 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 Right. So you know what you have to do. You have to go over to this prince guy and look him in the eyes and say, "Hi, I'm Hilda." Okay, but what do I do after that? I'm actually not that sure. This is the first time any of my fairy godchildren have even made it this far. Just go with the flow, yeah? Your relationship needs to develop naturally. Aside from the part where your presence here tonight was entirely contrived by supernatural intervention, but hey, nobody's perfect. Okay, I've got this. Walk over, eye contact, say hi. With you by my side, I can definitely do this. Oh, no, I'm not going to be here. The ancient magical labor contracts require fairy godparents to vacate any castles they might be attending to by the midnight hour. Got to let all the witches and ghosts of the dead monarchs and whatnot have their turn. But you'll be back, right? Yeah, I'm allowed back in at 1, but by then the party will be nearly over. Listen, transportation and dress and the bogus party invite were all my job, but this is something you've got to handle yourself. Think you can do that? Yes? You sure? No? Wow, you two really were meant for each other. Aw, that's awfully sweet of you to say, Ivy. Look, just go and talk to him, okay? The sooner not later. The stakes are kind of high here for both of us, and this is literally the 11th hour. Dong. Okay, figuratively, the 11th hour. Anyway, gotta fly, you can do it. Believe in yourself, the real magic is self-confidence or heart or something. Okay, I'll give it my best shot. For some reason, I have a feeling this really will be a dreadfully busy evening. Alrighty, that's 1 hour successfully wasted, and now that I'm legally allowed to re-enter the castle, I'd better go check in on Hilda and Prince Charmless. If they've managed to say hello to each other, that's good enough for godparent work. Now, where might I find those two? Hilda's kind of squeamish, so probably not over by those puddles of blood. Wait, why is there blood everywhere? Are those corpses? Okay, this might bode significantly less than well. Could be a lot weller, this bode. Oh boy. I need to find Hilda. Prince Felix, the crown prince of Iclic, and the object of Hilda's affections. He's not the most talkative of suitors, but it's maybe also because he's dead. Oh, and the Countess. I didn't expect her to die. I mean, I thought she was a vampire. Ambassador for the Sovereign Duchy of Darkwood, an isolated realm of the kingdom's outskirts. In death, she lies face down in a puddle of blood. In life, she probably did that a lot too. Oh, that's not good. The prince. younger sibling and the local mischief maker. Often caught red-handed in their antics, but never this literally. Hungry reveler, clumsy pair, yearning dancer, the tired bard, sacred statue. B plot. Captain of the castle guard and an amateur wrestler on the side, currently wrestling with being dead. A shy young woman from a small fishing town whose wish upon a star was granted by the fairies. Well, mostly granted. Hilda? Are you okay down there? Blink if you can hear me, alright? You sure are good at staring contests. Just watched a woman swing from a trapeze 20 feet in the air while suspended by her neck. Ask me anything. Nintendo Bro, how are you? Welcome in, welcome. We're currently playing 4 Before Midnight, a visual novel puzzle game that up until this moment was very cliche Cinderella-esque story. But our fairy godparent here has come back into the castle to collect the main character to find everyone dead in the castle, including the main character here. Good to hear, good. Oh gods, I'm in so much trouble. Hilda's dead, the prince is dead. You're at the fair? Well, that sounds like fun. Have you encountered a boring section of the fair that you're like, oh, well, I better check in on Epitaph Fox and see what he's up to? Even the creepy vampire lady's dead. This is not a happily ever after. It probably wouldn't even count as a cautionary morality tale. Eating at the moment. Oh, okay, well, that makes a little bit more sense. Short break in the action. Well, hello, Nintendo family. If any of you can hear me as well. What is your fair food of choice? In general, but also at this very moment, what are you eating? I tend to go for some pretty basic stuff when I'm at a fair. I guess it really kind of like depends on the food trucks that are there. But I tend to usually go for just, like, chicken tenders or, like, if a place is doing, like, hot dogs or something. At this moment, a hot dog. My wife got the ribeye sandwich. Very nice. When I was younger, my go-to, like, fair foods were, like, deep-fried Oreos or, like, fried dough or something. Funnel cakes and elephant ears. Well, there you go. Fried Snickers are good too. If I liked Snickers, I would probably say, like, yeah, I agree. Not really a fan of Snickers bars, though. When word gets out about this, the Fairy Council's gonna have a fit. We're not just talking demotion here. They'll grind me into fairy dust, or stuff me in a bottle, or rip off my wings and force me to work as a garden gnome. Think, Ivy. You've never met a problem you couldn't eventually weasel your way around. There's gotta be some way out of this. What about, True Love's Kiss? Ew. Excuse me. Everyone's looking a little too dead for that to work. Necromancy? No, that's super illegal. Tempting, but illegal. Maybe, time travel. Actually, that just might do it. If I channeled my magic onto that clock over there, I could return to the time before I left the castle and fix everything. Risky, though. Time travel's always super arbitrary and poorly explained, no matter what logic it allegedly follows. Come to think of it, didn't they teach us the 3 golden rules of time travel or something back in Fairy Academy? Let's see. Rule 1, don't let anyone know about the future. Rule 2, don't use your advanced knowledge to bet on sporting events. And Rule 3, don't time travel. Well, by Fairy Academy standards, 2 out of 3 is still a passing grade. Not like I've got any other options, either.
Better get to that clock and fast.
Hello. The blood-stained sword. An extremely cursed sword stained with the blood of pretty much everyone in the Great Hall. Definitely the murder weapon, and also the murderer. We can talk to the baleful blade, etc. Alright, Ivy, you've just got to inch your way across the room over to the clock without catching the demonic murder sword's all-perceiving eye. Easy does it, easy does it. Hey, so, were you just referring to me just now, or, like... Hold on, you can talk? Yes, I mean, wow, yes, apparently I can talk now. Every bit as surprised as you are, to be honest. One day you're just a cursed magical artifact laying around in some grotto, and the next you're going around talking and having thoughts like you've got a soul or something. Bit jarring, really, still hammering out the kinks and all. I'll show you a hammering, you murdering wretch of a... Whoa, no need to jump to conclusions just yet. I mean, the conclusion you're jumping to is right, yeah, but you're missing out a bit of the context here. When I was doing all that killing, I got a square with you. I was not super aware of exactly what I was doing. See, it turns out that the more blood I drink, the more sentient I become. Anyhow, and I mean, this is a real pickle I'm in. Thing is, it happens that just after I finished running through the guard over there on that old pointy end, I must have drank just enough blood to unlock the knowledge of good and evil. That's just the dude from that one cartoon, but a sword instead of a pyramid. I don't remember his name. The Baleful Blade definitely has Bill Cipher energy from Gravity Falls. Just a little bit. Surprisingly, though, a little bit more sane than Bill Cipher. But the eye is on point. And let me just say, wow. Real mind-opening stuff, that. Like, killing people? Bad? Who would have guessed it? I mean, obviously not me, because, you know. But in, like, a more general sense, gosh. You'd think they'd have written that one down or something. Prismatic Panda, hello, welcome and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here. If you don't mind me asking, I always try to ask people new to the stream how it is that they came across my stream. Are you in one of the Discords that I advertise in? Are you a fan of this game, perchance? Nintendo, of course. Rolling a d20, I could definitely do that, and redeeming second. Oh, Amanda! You know, honestly, I should have noticed by the name. But welcome in, Amanda. Welcome. They did. It's called The Law. Law. Yeah, that's not ringing a bell here, but say, maybe if I just one more sip of the good red stuff. No way. Absolutely not. Right. Very sensible. Can't fault you for that, no. Anyhow, so back to the whole good and evil thing. Not a fan, as it turns out. When you've gone and killed a whole palace full of people, carrying the weight of that sin is, like, really a bit of a drag, you know? So then, I see you sort of flitting around and all magicked up, and I think to myself, now there's someone who might be able to patch me up a little. Put a damper on my burgeoning intellect before it gets inconvenient, you feel me? And so here we are, you and me, getting along famously, we are. I mean, you're magic, I'm magic, you've got wings, I levitate. You're not huge on the murders I've committed, I'm not exactly huge on them either. I really love the writing of the Baleful Blade. I might need to steal this idea for like a D&D campaign. Not only like a sentient weapon, but like one who's like, yeah, I've been used to commit a lot of atrocities in the past, and you know, I'm not really for it, actually. Like Destiny, really. You and me, we'll be a couple of besties in no time, I'm sure. As much as I'd love to never deal with you ever again, unfortunately I think we're actually on the same page here. I'm about to try going back in time to stop you from killing everyone. If that works out, then my problem's fixed, and you won't have anything to feel bad about, right? Not that you'll be able to feel anything at all, since you'll just be a sword. But that's a sacrifice I'm absolutely willing to make here. Oh, now that's a clever plan, that. A bit like going back in time and killing your own grandpa, yeah? Also, get this. Killing your own grandpa is, as it turns out, wrong. Just a bit of good old, just a bit of old good and evil trivia for you there. Wow, super enlightening. Now, are you going to help me out here or not? Absolutely. Great, then I need to know exactly what happened here between midnight and the present. How much do you remember from before you went and killed everyone? More than you might expect, given that I was an inanimate object and all. Had a great view from that balcony, real choice seating that. What do you want to know about? How was the Countess? The Countess? Well, yes, I do suppose I was minding her a bit before I gave her the old stab to death. You know, me and her go back a ways, wouldn't you know? Used to keep me locked up in her armory of the accursed at the bottom of Lake Bloodmire. Had some good pals down there. Pals who I now realize were in fact also bloodthirsty murder weapons like myself, and definitely not good people. But you can't choose your family, yeah? But anyhow, back to Old Fangs. Let me tell you, she did not appreciate some of the aesthetic choices for the decor around here. Much more of a blood and darkness type person, you know? So I mean, if you want to look at it optimistically, killing her was really doing her a favor. Oh my god. Ugh. Anything with the minister? Minuet, eh? Yes, I do believe I know the fellow. Blue doublet, stiff and formal, a little scary. Dead. I was sitting in a pile of knickknacks just above him, and I got to tell you, he was a real wet blanket. Spent half of the evening with his nose in a book, and the other half nosing into other people's business. Kept staring at old Wolf over there like she was up to something, and hey, turns out she was, but still a bit impolite, you know? Some of us are a little self-conscious about being inhuman monsters spawned from the dark abyss. Did Hilda do anything of note? What, you mean the purple lass? Sure, I saw her. Tried to make a beeline for the prince over yonder, but then that brawny guard and the blue tabard started chatting her up. Must have yapped her ear off for an hour straight, I reckon, until I cut in. Cut in, you know, because I'm a sword? Okay, so maybe it's not that funny. Anyhow, as for what they were discussing, I couldn't honestly tell ya. Something awfully boring, I'd guess, but I just don't have the patience to sit and listen to that sort of small talk. I've drank enough blood to have a pretty solid grasp of conversational etiquette. I feel, and I have to say, there's nothing that irks me more than someone who just drones on and on with no point. Plain old inconsiderate is what it is. You feel me? What is the meaning of life? You know, I've been wondering about that myself. All this living and existing, what's the point of it, really? The vast indifference of the material plane, the impenetrable thickets of our own inner worlds, and between the two, the bewilderment of two souls connecting. The scaffolding we construct to navigate all that chaos, does it mean anything? Does it have to? Could the fact of our having constructed it be enough? To what end do we live? Try as I might, I cannot solve the riddle of the purpose of life. Of course, if you'd asked me 10 minutes ago, I'd probably have answered stabbing people. Self-aware evil sword. I love it. Let's return to the past. Alright, so how do I do this? Do I just, like, pump this thing full of magic with reckless abandon, or do I need to be a little more precise? My personal policy is to always take the easiest way out first, and then work up from there. So pump it full of magic it is. Return to the past now. Huh? Did it work? I don't feel anything. That's my impression of teleporting in Breath of the Wild, by the way. I can't feel my face. Ugh, that sure was a trip. Did I really manage to time travel? Going by the clock, it's 11:55, and going by how dark it is outside, that's 11:55 p.m. Unless I somehow missed hearing about the solar eclipse. So I'd guess I call it a success. First time for everything. And that leaves me with a whole 5 minutes to change the future. Easy peasy. With magic like mine, I'm pretty sure I could do just about anything in 5 minutes. And here comes the namesake of the game, 4 before midnight. Okay, 4 minutes. Less talking, Ivy, and more meddling. Maybe I should start by checking in on how Emma Wolf is doing with her plan to stop the murder sword. Explore the castle and use your 4 minutes to meddle with 4 different objects in order to change the future. Each time you meddle, the clock at the top of the screen will tick 1 minute closer to midnight. Keep track of the objects you've meddled with selecting the meddling records from the menu at the bottom of the screen. Oh, so we have to find the correct order to meddle with things. Okay. I like that. That's a clever way of doing it, too. Also, I really like the music. So that's the sword right up there. Pile of presents given to Prince Felix for his birthday. Baleful blade of blood murder sits atop the pile, silently mocking the futility of your attempts to stop it, and just generally giving off a bad vibe. She has a real yes we can-ein attitude, and okay, I'll stop with the werewolf jokes now. Okay, Emma, it's up to you to save everyone. No pressure, right? All you have to do is take this harmless sword and swap it with the extremely cursed one in the present pile. Quick, simple, and nobody's the wiser. Nobody except Minister Minuet over there, who's a little too close for comfort if I'm about to try sneaking past that gate blocking the upstairs. An extra step, but probably nothing I can't manage. Probably. Really wish I knew someone in the Royal Guards who could get Minuet to open the gate for me, but for now, I guess I'm working alone. Let's see, if I could blow out the chandeliers and get Minuet to leave for just a second, then I could channel the ambient moonlight, call upon my dark magical powers, transform while no one's watching, and then I could just slip past the... Oops, I better not finish that thought. Don't want the mortals catching on to us. Anyway, I don't know how to extinguish the chandeliers or shake off Minuet on my own, so I guess I'll have to set that plan aside for now. Oh, but I just got another idea. If I could just reach up to those draperies over the second floor and set them on fire with the candle or the like, then... Emma! Exactly how long do you intend to keep me waiting? I shouldn't have to remind you that this is a matter of the utmost urgency. Are you even trying to fix this mess? Ma'am, I was just in the middle of brainstorming a solution when you interrupt... Oh, good. Well, you have a solution. Well, let's hear it then. It's no use. I've totally lost my train of thought. Slacking off again, are we now? Don't think for a second that I'm not watching you, Emma. I had better not catch you dawdling again. Understood? Understood, ma'am. You ungrateful, blood-sucking parasite. I was so close to figuring out the perfect solution until she showed up. I swear, I could sort this whole thing out on my own, no problem, if I could just get her off my case for half an hour. Even my old job on the Counter-Demon Task Force was better than this. At least they let me punch the demons. Okay, so maybe if we do something to keep her occupied, so then Emma can formulate her idea. Like, I imagine we'll get, like, we'll fail a million times until we get the correct solution. Hilda and the captain of the palace guard. They appear to be having a very one-sided conversation. And so that's how I reshingled the second of the 8 rooftops over the north wing of the castle. Of course, there were still 6 rooftops left to reshingle, which I will now describe to you in super thorough and detail for the next hour, and... Hey, I'm really sorry to interrupt, but I'm actually supposed to meet up with the prince tonight, so I should probably be going. No! Sorry? I mean, no way am I letting a guest walk across the Great Hall on their own. I'll escort you over there myself, very carefully and slowly and indirectly for safety reasons. Safety from what specifically? Castle Elfnor may look peaceful on the surface, but it's actually super haunted. Like there's this rat wizard lurking around and a worm demon, not to mention the knight with no noggin. I don't know about the first two, but the knight with no noggin is just a bedtime story. You know, totally fictional, like fairy godparents, or... Wait, hold that thought. The knight with no noggin isn't a bedtime story. My sister Lucinda told me she saw her this one time, and Lucinda never lies. Lucinda says that she was 7 feet tall, armed with a giant axe, and wrapped in a blood-stained black cloak, and I had nightmares about her afterwards for like 5 years. And, still do, sometimes. Isn't the knight supposed to be 10 feet tall, armed with a soul-drinking sword, and clad head to toe in blood-stained armor? Or, neck to toe? That's... Oh man, that's even scarier! But don't worry, I'll be right by your side the whole time, watching over you constantly, never leaving you alone. Oh great, this is just what I needed. Poor Hilda. Candles beyond count flicker in the chandelier faint stars, fixed within firmament turning slowly in their spheres. Please forgive the flowery language. The sight of melting candles inclines the soul to wax poetic. So what would we do to put out the candles? Maybe open the window, maybe? Squawking of the castle's resident seagulls is faintly audible from the other side. Soon the rust will eat through the window latch entirely, negating its purpose of keeping the window shut. Talk about irony. Or maybe just iron. Window's still secure enough to keep the wind and the seagulls out, unless... Gosh, the latch on this window has seen better days. Maybe it's an original fixture. I feel like someone ought to replace it sooner than later, though. Perhaps I can offer a helping hand. Let's get magical. The latch on the window disintegrates into a pile of rust, filling the air with a sharp metallic odor. Well, now the window looks like it'd get blown open the next time there's so much as a stiff breeze around here. Which is to say that now, thanks to my intervention, they'll have no choice but to replace it. Nice problem solving, Ivy. There's something in the air. Something that smells like... blood? All of a sudden I'm feeling rather hungry. Which, to be clear, is a perfectly normal reaction to the scent of blood. Everyone likes the taste of hemoglobin, right? What the fuck? Statue of the sky goddess Linnea, who watches over the kingdom of Eclich and protects it from storms and other wind-related disasters. But if her sacred image should ever be defaced, she's not above causing a natural disaster or two as well. Let's go ahead and mess with that, then. Oh, we can't. Okay, but maybe there's something around here we can use to deface? Maybe if we do the showier decorations, the statue will be, like, blocked by the decorations? It's a birthday. Well, there's nothing factually wrong with it, but it's about 6 ways from anything close to festive. What we're missing here is a little personal touch. Abracadabra! The text on the banner changes to read, Happy Birthday to Prince Felix. Xenos Ovidenus Chronometros, the 9th of House Heroligus, son of Vilius and Xavier, heir of Eclich and the Peninsula by the authority of the council crowned beneath the sign of... Yep, it doesn't get much more personal than that. Might be a little hard to sing, though. How I've missed you in the 5 weeks since the last time someone had a birthday around here. The fluffy, sugary frosting, the sweet, soft, whatever you call the part of the cake that isn't frosting. Minuet says I can only have one slice, but what Minuet doesn't know won't hurt him, or more importantly, me. Plus, even though it's way past my bedtime, with this much sugar in my system, I'm unstoppable. Oh man, just think of the late night hijinks I can still get up to. More fake entries in the guest book, more some humorously placed kick me notes, maybe even some alright, so my first set of hijinks should probably be finding a supplementary source of sweets before the sugar crash fully sets in. Wasn't there some candy in the ballroom? Okay, so maybe we need to do something with that. Candy. Oh, if only we fairies didn't have such an instinctual sweet tooth for human sugar and such a lack of the proper enzymes to digest it. But you know, sugar is an awful lot like fairy dust, and fairies do love eating fairy dust. Even if it is mildly cannibalistic. Maybe I could use my magic to make this candy a little easier on the delicate fairy's digestive system. Come on! The bowl magically empties and refills itself with ripe bananas. Bananas? Ugh, what a waste of magic. Okay, I mean, yes, I could digest a banana if I wanted to, but I don't want to eat a banana. I want to eat candy. Oh, how terrible the temptation of the forbidden fruit. And by fruit, I mean candy, and not the actual fruit. Phrasing. How terrible the temptation of the forbidden artificial fruit flavor. What's this now? Where did these bananas come from? Is some manner of sorcery afoot? Mysterious, deliciously fruit-centric sorcery? I'd not thought that sorcerers had such good taste. I'd better get started eating, to show them the magnitude of my appreciation. And that causes a banana peel to appear. Okay. So maybe the brother, maybe Maxie comes in looking for the candy, slips on the banana, defaces the statue, the wind blows in, and takes out the lights, the candle light, and then Emma can turn into their form and do whatever they need to do. Pitcher of cool, refreshing water with little slices of lemon floating in it. Someone has optimistically mislabeled it lemonade. Different choice of drink could help raise spirits, in a sense. Dodgy courtier. Just look at all the neat stuff they've got here at Castle Elfnor. Fancy clothes, gourmet eats, and more gold trim than you can shake a gilded stick at. And it's all ripe for the taking. And just to be clear, I mean for the taking by me, the elusive gentleman thief known only as the Thing Taker. Wait, I mean the Phantom Obtainer, or Burglar the Great? Maybe I should steal a better name too while I'm at it. Her flag's blank white design was chosen as symbolic of her love of snow, her stress-induced premature graying, and her extremely conflict-avoidant personality. The color could certainly be more attention-grabbing. Well, it's a white flag, so people think that they're always giving up. Ye tome of dubiously plot-related information. An aging book of barely intelligible short stories written in a superiously archaic style. There's no bookmark. Oh, there is a bookmark stuck in it, somewhere around the middle. Chapter the 7 and 10th. Ye tale of ye traveler and ye castle Hauntius. Once upon a time, a traveler by her name called Moritura was riding through the woods when a fearsome storm did begin to rage in the night sky. Deep as she were in the dark forest for miles and miles round ways, the sole structure in sight was but a castle derelict, stood high upon a cliff. Ill its forebodings did seem to Moritura, but more ill-boded was the storm and its foul winds, so rode she to the castle door and gaveth a knock. Bilbo keeps trying to eat my hair. Bilbo, don't eat the hair. And Mrs. Epitaph Fox, thank you very much for the splash. Unfortunately, it does nothing, but it does let me know that you're here. Wait, I am seeking shelter from the storm, cried she, and at her words did the door creak open. Thus entered Moratura into the castle. Within met she laid a lady of most noble comport, clad in gules and sable. Hail, stranger, spoke the lady, thou come into the house of the Berenice Sanguinea Vainparch, who art I. Well, would it please me if thou wouldst accept mine hospitality this eve, but rules rules 3 you would need to obey within the walls. First, began the Baroness, pointing to a small glass bowl upon the hearth. Drink not of the sweet nectar that within the bowl rests. Secondly, you are to bring no wares of silver into my house, nor mirrors, nor stakes of wood. And third, the door to the library that lieth upstairs thou must never open. Most readily did Moratura to these terms agree, and so it was that she and the Baroness did together enjoy a lovely evening of feasting, drink, and song. And after the merriment, Moratura to her bedchamber did retire, that she might rest in for depart upon ye morn. But in the midst of the night, as she did lie sleepless, within her mind there stirred a dredulous prickage of curiosity. Wherefore did the Baroness the sweetness of the bowl forbid, and what could be concealed behind the door? Yea, verily, her will did yon questions o'erwhelm, or so rose she restless from her bed for to walk, that she might be with truth her spirits assuage. This is tough to, like, translate as I read it. Up the stairs she climbed as the storm raged on outside, rain pouring through the broken windows, making every step slick. All the while she climbed over the howling of the winds. She could hear faint sound, the sound of unearthly music from the library. Higher and higher did she go, ever closer to the music, and to the door the Baroness had expressly forbade. Oh, how terrible her curiosity that her host's request she did transgress. Right unto the threshold of the door climbed Moratura, one mere step away from its dark mysteries to reveal, but as she stepped forth to touch the door, slip her foot did upon the rain-drenched stairs, and down from them she came tumbling and died. Moral, always shut in the windows when that it storms. The end. Well, there's like, if we didn't think of that clue before, then yeah, we have the windows open. With plot and that interloping princess keeping each other thoroughly occupied, I suppose the remainder of the evening is mine to enjoy. And what could be more enjoyable than a leisurely perusal of the bounteous treasure trove that is the literary canon? Well, a platter of fine cheeses and a tall glass of portmanteau perhaps, but I shall make do with what's at hand. Now let's begin with a passage from the Royal Eclectian Annals. The sophisticated and grammatically robust prose of an era past is a balm for the soul in these decadent times. A single sentence from antiquity bears more rhetorical wit than does the whole body of what now passes for literature. And if I set aside an hour or so for my reading, perhaps I could even read 2 sentences. So he wants wine and cheese. Is there anything I can do here? I can make more cake appear. Probably. Like, I'm assuming that's what that is. Splendid feast. Always space for second and thirds. If you were to alter the menu, this feast might appeal to a different audience. Metal! The food table, the eternal lurking spot of loners, wallflowers, and the less conversationally inclined. Having haunted my fair share of food tables myself, I feel like the least I can do for the lonely hearts at this party is spruce things up for them over here. Let's do a little fairy-style home cooking. The secret ingredient is magic. M-A-G-I-C. The food on the table transforms into an exquisite spread of new and completely uncooked dishes. I'm used to my ideas coming out half-baked, but cold and raw is a new one. Guess it might be time to introduce the Ekalikian nobility to the exciting world of sashimi. Well, that's all 4 minutes finished. Guess I'd better get a move on. The possibility that Hilda and the others will all die gruesome deaths while I'm out might be frightening, but that's nothing next to the penalties for butting in on someone else's time slot. Good luck, Hilda. I think you're gonna need it. I don't know if we did it or not. Nope, there's still dead people around. Hilda, I'm back from wandering around aimlessly and hyperventilating outside. Are you still here? Did your date go okay? Are you, alive? From the reek of blood in the air, I'm going to take the answer as no. Well, there are some differences now. A guard whose stoic and unflappable demeanor remains unbroken even in death. It's also possible he's just playing dead, but faking that many stab wounds would take some serious dedication. Young nobleman whose great talent for grift and petty theft was never celebrated while he was alive. Countess von Pier's lackey, a woman whose renowned vigilance has earned her the nickname a werewolf. A werewolf joke that would be a lot funnier if she weren't dead. So the candles never went out. The window never opened. It doesn't look like anyone slipped on the banana peel. So, that didn't work, huh? I thought maybe I'd get lucky and fix everything on my first try, but I guess this is going to be a matter of trial and error. Alright, let's see. I can't just fly Emma upstairs to the cursed sword myself, but maybe I can make things a little easier for her with my magic. There must be some combination of things I can meddle with that'll solve this problem. I guess I could start by checking to see how everything reacts to magic, and try to piece it together from there. Might take a few time loops to get the hang of it, but now that I've seen 2 dead Hildas, what's another 4 or 5 more? Hello, sword. Well, if I'm gonna have to make another time loop to fix all this, I guess I could check back with the Baleful Blade of Blood Murder again, as well, for some hints. I just hope this time around its personality is a little less, well, hello there, stranger! Fancy running into someone else around here. Figuratively running into, I mean, literally ran into everyone else already. Hence the mess, you know. Okay, I guess we're doing this again. Alright, here's the deal. I'm a time traveler, and based on conversations we've had in an alternate timeline, you'd like to someone to help you feel less guilty about murdering everyone, correct? Gosh, that's exactly right! I've just been feeling downright despondent here about the whole affair, as I'm sure you can tell. Right, sure. Anyway, I can make sure you never murder anyone in the first place, but I'm gonna need your help. Specifically, I'm gonna need you to tell me everything you can remember about what happened here between midnight and now. Think you can do that? I most certainly can, friend. What do you want to know? Who dropped that banana peel? The banana. I see why you might be curious about that. I most certainly do. It's got a peel, you might say. Just a little joke there to diffuse the tension. Anyway, the peel. It came from this fellow in a gray jacket. Kinda peckish, bit of a messy eater. You know, the guy. I'm sure. And he was just wolfing down that banana like there was no tomorrow. Which, for him, turned out to be correct, funny enough. but still. Just because I killed him is no excuse for him to drop his banana peel on the floor. Someone could have gotten hurt. And that's really all we get to know from that. Okay. Have fun time in the past. See you again soon. You'd better hope not. Rewind. Maybe we need to give Maxie more cake. Sure, it's nice to be back at a castle where everyone's not dead. Again. I'm gonna need to have a serious talk with a fairy god therapist when I'm done with all this. On to attempt number 2. Wait, or is this technically my 3rd attempt? Now let's go with 2. The lower number will sound better in the council report. Use the objective tab at the bottom of the screen to get a quick reminder about the current storyline. Interesting, it keeps track of it like that. Oh, the Warwolves UK raiding in with a party of 1. Welcome and welcome! We're in the midst of trying to solve a puzzle here. Oh, looks like we can meddle with the bard. That's interesting. But this is good to get like a list of like what are the different objects we can interact with. The rusty window I feel like is like we need to do that in some capacity. So let's go ahead and just do that now. So what was the Warwolves UK doing? What was the stream? I wonder, I don't know what the, maybe if we have the banana peel out and we meddle with the bard, the dancers will be dancing more, and then they will trip and hit the statue in some capacity? The yearning dancer. Look at all these happy couples prancing around like they own the place. Okay, that couple over there looks a little out of it, but you know, the couples as a collective generally look happy. Happier than me, anyway. Oh, if only I had a partner to dance with at the royal ball. Yeah, someone tall and knightly and vertically imposing and stoic and tall. And look, I have a type, okay? A date, my kingdom for a date. Alas, I have only a small barony. Okay, but we also have the knight costume. Right, the knight armor. I'm doing good, how about yourself? Ugh. I knew that this game would take me longer than the hour, so it's possible we're gonna just be playing this all night. Alright, let's animate the suit of armor. The armor rattles to life. There we go, amazing what a difference a positive attitude can make. Was the animation really just for the thumbs up? Just keep smiling, Lampreya. Keep smiling and no one will suspect anything's amiss. Focus on the gentle, soothing presence of that vase of poisonous flowers. Breathe in those calming toxins. Slowly exhale. Any minute now, Emma will come back with the baleful blade of blood murder, and everything will be fine. Everyone will be completely safe. We can throw the cursed thing off of a cliff and be done with it, or jam it in some rocks, or foist it on some less important princeling to deal with. Yes, just wait a little longer and things will start going your way. Alright, that's enough waiting. I'm gonna go see what's taking Emma so long. Emma, you mangy cur, why haven't you finished yet? Ma'am, you haven't even given me 10 minutes. Oh, so you'll be finished in 10 minutes then. What? No, that's not what I... Very well, Emma, hop to it. I expect results next time I check in. Ah, I feel much better with that off my mind. Perhaps patience truly is a virtue. Who's that knight over there by the entrance? I don't think I've ever seen them around before. But you know, they're just my type. Well, alright, it's hard to actually tell anything about them at this distance when they're wearing that armor. But at minimum, they're seriously tall. Oh, if only I could get them to notice me. I'm guessing it would be by the dancing. So let's meddle with the tired bard. That's a lovely waltz she's playing, very traditional for a royal ball. On the other hand, maybe what we're missing here is something a little unconventional. Something like a waltz in 15/8 time. Transform! The time signature on the bard sheet music changes from 3/4 to 15/8. Nice thinking, Ivy. That's a whole 250% more waltz than this ball ever had before. Those dancers won't know what hit them. Crash. Dear, I'm quite certain that isn't how you do a waltz. Sorry, dear, it's just with this odd tempo. I can't even tell my arms from my legs. Those are my legs, dear. Like I said, they won't know what hit them. Are you sure this is how you're supposed to dance, dear? Well, maybe not exactly like this, but I'm sure I saw someone doing this during the lute solo earlier. I think they were just drunk. I suppose we could try that. Alright, and now we'll make this bananas, so the banana peel is there. I just hope the changes I made this time will fix things. Here we go. Nope, everyone is still dead. Wait, sorry, make that the second time. I forgot about the whole not counting the first attempt for official purposes thing. I don't even want to think about the paperwork I'm gonna have to file when this is over. For now, I'd better focus on something more immediate and calming, like, the sea of corpses scattered about me. Yeah, that's some real serenity right there. The statue did break. Someone tripped and shattered it. Based on the bone-chilling draft blowing through the hall, the benevolence part of her job must take a backseat to the pride. The chandelier did go out. This is still locked tight, though. Oh, there's another suit of armor here. With a thumbs down? What? Oh, get out of here. Is that the same? No, it put itself there. Emma still died out here, though, which isn't a good sign. One of the flags is missing, though. The flag got moved over here. Interesting. That was Emma's other idea. Something about setting fire to something. So if we get the suit of armor to be able to dance, it moves a flag, I guess? But how do we get a fire over here is the other question. Oh, Hilda, when I said I'd grant your wishes, I never thought it would come to this. Heartbreak, maybe, or imprisonment for impersonating a foreign dignitary, but definitely not murder. But don't worry, I can fix this. Just stay right there and continue not being alive. All I need to do is turn back the clock again, and no one will remember any of this ever happened. Except for me, in my nightmares. Every night, for the rest of my life. Alright, Murder Sword, listen up. I'm a time traveler from an alternate reality where you killed everyone, and I was sent here to stop you from killing everyone. Which obviously I could have done a better job with, but it's been a long night, okay? Time travel? Alternate realities? Gosh! I mean, that sounds pretty improbable and hard to believe, you know? But I haven't drank quite enough blood yet to unlock the capacity for skepticism. So whatever you're on about, I'm fully on board. Anything I can help you with, friend? When did the candles go out? Come to think of it, it is a bit dark in here, isn't it? On account of all those candles getting blown out, I should think. And that'd be on account of the storm outside. Funny, actually, how it went from clear skies to a raging gale at the drop of a hat, but I guess that's the weather for you. And of course, the storm would have never been able to have blown out the candles if that window had a proper non-rusted latch on it. Though that latch wouldn't have rusted in the first place if not for the inescapable process of oxidation between iron and oxygen, as demanded by the second law of thermodynamics. Now, the blame for that little debacle falls squarely on the creation of space and time, if you ask me, though I suppose space and time wouldn't exist if not for... Thanks. Why does it smell like blood? Oh, that was definitely not my doing, friend. Well, maybe partially my doing. More my doing than not, even, but just to be clear, it also smelled that way even before I killed everyone. Personally, I blame the rusty lock on the window. Unnaturally rusty it was, and with a keen taste for blood like I've got, I could smell it a mile away. Or a kilometer away, even. Is the glitch on the metric standard, do you know? Okay, we need to take a small dog break. Dog time, BRB. Before the rain, okay. Hello, I am back. What were we doing here? Alright, so that's all we learned. But I think we're closing in on like what we need to do. But I want to focus on trying to get Emma to talk more about her other plan. All I have to do is fly around, interfere with a handful of carefully selected objects, and let fate handle the rest. Or I could just randomly zap things with magic and see how it shakes for out in an hour. Decisions. If we distract the Baroness, like she said that it was the flowers that were giving her like that's an idea as well. If we change the flowers, then she's less, like, going to stand over here, and maybe Emma will be able to think her thoughts more thoroughly, and then we'll hear what her other idea is. Are these weeping dysteria? Aren't they, like, poisonous? No way are Hilda and Felix far enough in their relationship for those to be appropriate. Maybe save that for when they have their first breakup. For now, zap. Into sunflowers. In flower language, sunflowers mean admiration and loyalty, and apparently they can also represent both good luck and longevity. Which, given how things have been shaping up this evening, might be too optimistic. Look at all these humans, milling about without a care in the world. So lost in their transient delights, so unburdened by the steadily compounding weight of the centuries, so full of fresh, warm blood. I mean, just like me, famously warm-blooded, fun-loving mortal and prey of vampire. I sure do love the things that humans love, such as those bright, chipper sunflowers over on the table. The sun being my favorite celestial body, after all. I'm just constantly bathing in the radiant light, which isn't painful for me at all, and I just... no, I've had enough of this charade. What passes for interior decor among humans is frankly appalling, and I do not care who might overhear me saying as much. Perhaps I'll go wait somewhere with a little more subtle and sophisticated furnishing, like by that enormous skull painting in the mezzanine. Oh, okay. So I wonder, we could potentially get her to come over here if this painting is shifted from clowns to something else then. Oh, okay. Oh, and I bet if we have her over here when we do the latch, she will just open up the window, so we don't need to mess with the candy turning into bananas and doing the dancing and all that. I wonder. Finally some space between myself and those wretched sunflowers. What a vile sight. You don't see me leaving skeletons or eldritch horrors laying around, Bloodmire or Citadel, when I have the mortals over for dinner, now do you? Though admittedly, when I have mortals over for dinner at Citadel Bloodmire, said mortals aren't there as guests, per se. I get it. I get it. Condiment jars. I don't even know what we would meddle with them. Garlic Lael, garlic Klobnock, garlic and Allium Satvium. Oh, and garlic. Label doesn't do a great job of selling the product, but with a little magical editing... we could possibly cause her to eat garlic and die. I don't know if we necessarily want that to happen. Alright, we're gonna try eavesdropping on Emma Wolf now. Minister Minuet over there, who's a little too close for comfort if I'm going to try sneaking past the gate blocking the upstairs. Wish I knew someone in the Royal Guards who could get Minuet to open the gate for me. Blow out the chandeliers. Minuet would leave. Then I could channel the ambient moonlight. if I could reach up to those draperies over the second floor and set them on fire with a candle... Oh, no, Emma still comes over. Oh, I bet if we, Okay, so what if we meddle with this, and maybe she would eat it and then get, like, knocked out, and then Emma can finish her thought. They're calling it Old Sossenhauer's homestyle sugarless jam, huh? Despite it consisting entirely of garlic? I know jam can technically be made from any preserved fruit or vegetable, but this seems like a serious case of false advertising. It's high time someone knocked some sense into those labels. Now it says Old Sossenhauer's extremely lethal, mortal-killing poison. Well, technically garlic can be poisonous to a number of mortal mammals, such as cows. So it's not like the labels are any less accurate than before I messed with them. Oh, but with her here, if we make it raw meat, she'll probably eat it. No? That was all just, like, pointless, why we did all that? Okay. All the money in the world and the royal family still can't come up with a better painting to hang on their wall than this disaster. Soulful clowns rank even lower than jars of soup or dogs playing poker in terms of tasteful decor, if you ask me. Of course, they didn't ask me, but why should that be an issue? Thanks to the power of magic, I can force my aesthetic preferences onto anyone! Ready, set, go! The soulful clown painting expands itself into an enormous soulful clown tapestry. Or apparently the magic can force their aesthetic preferences onto me. I'm gonna have a long talk with the magical home decor department when I get back to Fairyland. The tapestry transfixes the gallery's occupant with its soulful gaze. It doesn't seem like anyone wants to stick around. Okay, so that can cause them to leave. Okay. I've got some ideas brewing for the next little section here. Here we are again, me, Hilda, and a very large puddle of blood that probably shouldn't be spread out on the floor like that. Not my favorite sight, I guess, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. No, actually, it's definitely the worst thing I've ever seen. Better not stick around and gawk, I have a chance to fix this. Interesting. But who knows, maybe there will be something different now. Oh, is that somebody not dead I say over there? Hey, look here, it's me, the talking... do I really have to go through this every time I time travel? Maybe I can get through this a little more efficiently. Look, Sorty, I'm a time traveler from an alternate reality. Give me info and I'll stop you from killing everyone. Time travel? Alternate realities? Gosh, I mean, that sounds... Yeah, sounds improbable or whatever. I've been through this before, so can we just cut to the chase? Tell me everything you know. Everything? Well, then I've got some choice knowledge for you. For example, did you know that helping other people is good and not evil? That's a certified fact, that is. Oh, and hurting other people? That one's tricky. Mind you, so you might not get it right the first time around, but hey, surprise, it's evil. And if you ever find yourself having to choose whether to allow a runaway carriage to run down 3 people through inaction, or actively divert it so that it runs down 1 person, then the objectively good choice is... I meant tell me everything you know about you murdering everyone. Oh, well in that case. Why did the Countess move? Ah, the Countess, or Lampreia as we used to call her back in the Armory of the Accursed, or sometimes Lampsey, oh, or the Scary Lady, Miss Coagulality, Fangs, the VP, Jimbo. Anyhow, our Lampreia is a bit of a night owl. Well, maybe not owl, if you know what I mean. And if there's anything she hates, it's the sun. So naturally, the moment she saw those sunflowers in the entrance, she was out of there. Went to go lurk by the meat platter, which is where she was standing when I went and hopped her. Bit weird in hindsight, though, now that I have the ability to stop and think about it. Not usually one for a catered meal, our Lampsey. She's more of a tartar sort of gal, if you catch my drift, and by drift I mean less than subtle insinuation that she preys upon the living. I guess it's hints that we technically already know about. The character depicted could loosely be described as tall, dark, and handsome, and toothsome. Hope the old time travel goes well, my little green friend. And if it doesn't, I'm sure I'll have some lovely new good and evil trivia to share when you get back. Great, as if seeing everyone murdered wasn't enough punishment. Rewind. Alright, I'm not going to read that. We're going to make this meddled. It should make Brynhilda and B-Plot leave. So now they talk in here. Yeah, this is all we've heard all of this before. Nothing changes from that. What was the next thing? We're gonna change these. So she still comes to the mezzanine. Okay. I was kind of hoping she'd be like, well, I'm gonna go over to the gallery. Is that the scent of blood? It's making me somewhat peckish. Oh, and now that she's hungry... Okay. Oh, okay. She had something to say there that we missed out on because we did things in a different order. In addition to blood, I feel like I'm getting uncomfortably less uncomfortable around corpses as well. Hard to reflect on your own mortality when you can just wave your wand and everyone's back to life again. Also hard to reflect on your own mortality when you're immortal, but it's the principle of the thing, you know? Okay, I think I know what I need to do. Murder Sword, I'm going to be very specific, so you better not start spouting off some inane tangent about blood or good and evil or killing people. Blood, good and evil, killing people? Well, it just so happens that, as I was saying, I'm from the government. The Sword Government. The government of Swordland, which you belong to. They want to know exactly what's been going on here over the last hour or so spill it. Right on it. An explicitly non-sword agent of the Swordlandian government. What do you want to know about? Yeah, nothing new. Okay. Oh, and if you run into old Jimmy Claymore, you let him know that it wasn't me who... I appreciate that they make it entertaining each time you go through. They say the past is a foreign country, but I feel like that doesn't really apply until you've gone at least like 20 years back or so. This feels about as foreign as my backyard. But you know, if I did go back 20 years, I bet I could set things up so that Hilda and Felix met as children, or something, and save myself a lot of trouble down the line. Or maybe I'd even have enough time to follow my dreams of becoming a master carpenter instead, so that I never end up in a situation in the first place. Oh, if only I'd stuck with it a little longer, I'm sure I could have figured out which way you're supposed to turn the screws. Oh, goodness. We might have to finish this on Sunday. This is taking me a lot longer than I anticipated. Okay. Meddle with the flowers. Make her hungry by getting the rust smell in the air. And then turn the food into raw food. Oh, it seems the castle chefs have considerably improved their cooking since the last time I was here. Or rather, stopped cooking it entirely. The spread of raw meat is positively tantalizing, and the faint whiff of blood adds a delightful touch. Though it's not my custom to dine among mortals, perhaps I should make an exception, just this once. Not to do so would be such a dreadful waste. But what would really make this a gourmet experience is a dollop of delicious poison for that extra hit of flavor. And by poison, I mean onion, naturally. Ah, yes, the good old poise onion, that venerable staple of Darkwood cuisine, which we all shorten to poison for dialectical reasons. Alright, but like, how do we get her to come over here and get the scent of blood? Like, we don't have enough steps to also make this poison for her. I guess we could do this. That totals out to what, 5 hours and 24 minutes I've spent in this time loop or something like that anyway? Math was never my strong suit. Speaking of things that were never my strong suit, stress management. This next hour is going to go by real slow. Oh! Was that the solution? People are alive right now. Brace yourself, Ivy. When you open your eyes, the sight that awaits you might be gruesome and frightening, but it's your sacred duty as a fairy godparent to... Wait, hold on, is that music I hear and the sound of human voices? Oh, thank the gods, I actually fixed it this time. I was getting kind of worried I'd be stuck looping this hour and 4 minutes forever, but it looks like everything's totally cool now. Everything is 100% solved. Oh, Hilda, where could you have gone? Huh? You've got to be kidding me. It's all over. The party and my hopes and dreams for the future have come to their respective ends. And yet, still unkindly, fate denies me any sense of closure or resolution to all this. What happened to Hilda? Did she make it to the palace? If so, where did she go? All night I've sought an answer to my questions, to no avail. Admittedly, in retrospect, I probably should have tried seeking an answer somewhere other than this spot in the foyer, where I've been standing for the last 2 or 3 hours. But what if Hilda had shown up just after I left? No, that's a risk I couldn't have afforded to take. Still, I can't help but wonder how things might have turned out had I taken a different course of action. For instance, if I stood perhaps an inch or two to the left of the spot, would the altered vantage point have permitted me a glimpse of Hilda, assuming she was present at all? Oh, would that I could upend the time's hourglass and start this night anew. Before I talk to people, we're just gonna look around. Alright, the sword is still up there. Oh no, but they swapped the sword, that's right. Countess Vampire and her very capable aide, Emma Wolf. Countess looks a bit more sickly than usual, even. And so then with the rope, I was able to climb the wall to the 2nd floor where... my stomach. And that's when the gargoyle's wing broke off. But lucky for me, I'd come up with a contingency plan for that as well, during that half hour when you suddenly stopped checking in on me. All I needed was my trusty corkscrew and a couple biscuits, which I'd gathered beforehand, in order to... That's great, Emma. Now, if you'd kindly stop yapping and find me an urn or a potted plant or the like, my dinner is planning a hasty egress. Hasty egress? Is that some sort of poultry dish, ma'am? I thought you were so keen on... Oh, got it. But you know what, ma'am? Whatever possessed you to slather the slab of raw meat with garlic sauce like that? You know that what all that does to your digestion. If you're insinuating that I'm somehow at fault here, I have you know I was exceptionally hungry. The scent of blood was in the air, the steak before me was so fresh it bled, and the label of the condiment seemed harmless enough. Can you honestly blame me for not expecting the sauce to nearly poison me? You mean this sauce? The one labeled Old Sossenhauer's extremely lethal, mortal, killing poison? The one that says not to ingest it under any circumstances? When we get back to the duchy, you are never to speak of this again, understood? Yes, ma'am. Thank the gods, this wreck of a party's finally over. When I write the official account of the prince's 18th birthday, I'm gonna have some choice words to commit to the historical record. Generations from now, the people of Eklik will remember just how awful this all was. For instance, I'd feel much more at ease about unwanted interlopers sneaking into the ball if B weren't the one in charge of security. Sure, she's handy with a spear and stronger than the whole royal court stuck together, and nice, and actually willing to talk to me, but it's just, for as long as I've known B, she's been deathly afraid of ghosts. What if the spirit of some dead old king or even the knight with no noggin were to barge in and make a ruckus? B would probably faint on the spot. And then who'd be the one in charge of fixing things? The Archminister? The Prince? Me? I really hope it's not me anyway, I'm also deathly afraid of ghosts. How typical. Another party, another talentless larcenist trying to purloin the royal household's good in plain view. This time, it's that boy over by the stairway. I think he's the son of the Earl of Abscondia. Well, I hope that boy knows what he's getting into, because his father and I are going to have some words later about his behavior. Words that admittedly will mostly consist of, please don't, if you wouldn't mind stopping him, and maybe consider not doing that. Getting into arguments with my social superiors always gives me a serious case of heartburn. I'm not reading all that, sorry. Oh, here we go. They were still talking this whole time. Sounds like she's in the middle of something. I wonder what they're talking about. Anyway, that's when we decided to break it off. Not that I'm saying we didn't still care for each other, but we'd both just gotten promotions, and it turns out long distance is kind of hard, especially with how spotty the mail is between here and Darkwood. But I still kind of miss her, you know? Like, just hanging out. Except she's married now. And I feel a bit weird approaching her just out of the blue. Maybe it's just me. But I don't know what I'd say at this point after all this time. Anyway, so that's the end of the story about how we reshingled the 4th roof. Now for the 5th roof. Wow, that sure all sure sounds really complicated. Speaking of complicated, I should probably get going now and say hi to the prince now. Since it's been an hour, I'm sure he's expecting... Wait, you can't go with me? Without me, you'll get killed by ghosts or something. And that is a risk I'm pretty much willing to take at this point. So if you'll excuse me. But do you want to hear the next part of the story? It's about the prince's secret crush. Curse. A crush. The Felix has a curse? Oh no, he got cursed? Wait, I mean, yes. Prince Felix's secret curse. That does sound like important information. But I'm kind of short on time. Maybe you could just summarize it for me? Well, I guess I could try shortening it a bit, cut back on some of the side characters and the rest. So back like 700 years ago, or probably more like 720, there was this girl named Janie who wasn't anything special, except she was actually something special, and she was Felix's great. What have I gotten myself into? Hilda, you're alive. Ivy, you came back. Also, what do you mean by alive? That's a funny story for another time. Super funny. But right now I'm more worried about what's going on here. You still haven't gone to say hi to Felix. Did something happen? I tried, I really did, but no matter what I did, I couldn't shake off. Hey, Miss Imposter? Why are you hunched over like that and talking to the wall? Is there like a tiny imp there or what? Also, got any flags stuffed in your pocket, like red ones? No particular reason, just curious. Just talking to myself, that's all, nothing to see here. I'll just be loitering over here then for no particular reason. Well, I think I get the picture here. She's been tailing you and keeping you from meeting up with Felix, probably on the Archminister's orders, yeah? As far as I can tell, that's exactly it. Ah, and I was so close too. I know you said this was up to me, but is there possibly something you could do about this? At this rate, I'll never even have a chance to talk to Felix. I'd love to wave my magic wand and fix everything for you, again. But unfortunately, none of my usual spells are good on living people. Or on dead people. Just in case your imagination was going to some dark places there. I can mess with inanimate objects and certain species of rodent for some reason, but that's about it. So you can't just, I don't know, zap her and make her forget about me for an hour? I could try, I guess? I do theoretically know an explosion spell, originally designed for fairy gravel mining. Given the difference in scale, it's probably safe for use on humans. Well, mostly safe. For some humans, worth a shot anyway. Boom! The spell strikes B and knocks something loose from her belt. Huh? What was that? Felt almost like someone elbowing me lightly in the back. Weird. Must have been that wrestler's ribcage I'm always hearing about. Good thing I've got such a strong constitution. High power explosion spell, they said. Even a child could cast it, they said. Last time I buy a spell book off of Faye's list. But don't fret, I have an alternate solution to this problem. For a second there, I thought I was going to be stuck getting dragged around by this guard all night. What's your plan to get rid of her? Oh, a plan to get rid of me? Mind if I listen in? You don't, right? Sorry, Hilda, I'll explain later, much later. Wait, Ivy, don't leave me with her. You know, no one's ever tried to get rid of me before. Well, not that they've told me anyway. So I'm super excited to hear about this. Lay it on me, Miss Imposter. Ivy, help me. Ivy! Sure looks like a problem. A problem which I am way out of time to solve. I only barely managed to keep everyone from dying this time. If I make any more changes to the past, I feel like I'm going to end up with a room full of corpses again. Is this the end of the road for me? Has my admittedly chronically deficient supply of luck finally run out? The mysterious object that B dropped glimmers faintly on the ground. No, it can't be over yet. There's absolutely no way I'm going to let them demote me back to fairy god acquaintance. The council can pry my little green godparent beret from my cold dead hands. The glimmering object on the ground catches your otherwise painfully inattentive eye. Oh my God. Why don't we look at it? Let's see. If I lightly doctored Hilda's wish request form to say B instead of Felix, that'd technically mean I granted another of her wishes. Would definitely mean I committed a Fairyland felony, but I'm kind of knee-deep in those already. You look down, noticing the extremely conspicuous object that... And I suppose if that's where we are now, then necromancy's not totally off the table either. Oh, for the love of... The ground. There's something on the ground. Who's this? Is this the narrator? Huh? The ground? Oh, look at that. There really is something there. A mysterious key. A key that B-Plot dropped by accident just a minute ago, which unlocks the gate in the stairway room. It obviously belongs in the key item section of your inventory. You know, I didn't think zapping people would actually make them drop the loot. Thanks for pointing it out. Question mark, question mark, question mark? Please, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Well, alright then. Guess that weirdos are out in full force tonight, huh? Whatever the metaphysical implications of a mustachioed stalker narrating at me from behind a dubiously unreal curtain will have to wait. When it comes to magic, there's no such thing as coincidences. So if I ended up with this key, I'm guessing it's somehow related to the whole everyone not dying thing. Better keep it handy, in case it turns out to be necessary sometime in the future. And by future, I mean the past, which is where I'm headed now, to see if I can't make use of this. Okay, interesting. Alright, so there's multiple different paths that we can take. Thanks to your meddling, Emma has managed to swap the swords, and everyone has survived the night, but Hilda still hasn't managed to meet up with Felix. Looks like it'll take a little more work to bring this fairy tale to a close. Alright, well, let's save the game. Because we haven't done that this entire time. And we're going to stop for right now. We will return to this on Sunday then. Hopefully I'll be able to beat it on Sunday. I'm having a real fun time with it. It's a lot to read, but the puzzle aspect of it is really interesting, especially the part where it seems like there's like different avenues that you can chase after as well. Apparently, taking out the vampire allowed Emma to save the day, which allowed us to then get the key off of B-Plot's armor. So clearly we need to follow these like chains in order to accomplish different things that will then affect further paths.